gentlemen, I'd like to welcome everyone tonight.
Mayor, your microphone's not on.
It's on.
No, it's not. Oh, it's really dim.
Okay. I call this meeting to order at 5:31 p.m. and we'll start with a roll call beginning to my right.
Corey Miller here.
Thatcher here.
Morris here.
Parrish here.
Orwell here.
Okay, let the record reflect that a quorum of council is present. At this time, if you would all rise for the invocation and the pledge. Pastor James Spurgeon, if you'll step forward, please.
Let's bow for prayer. Our merciful and righteous Heavenly Father, we thank you for the gift of life and the opportunity to serve the people of our city. Help us to act with character and conviction. Help us to listen with understanding and goodwill. Help us to speak with charity and restraint. And give us a spirit of service. May a spirit of wisdom and understanding fill this place this evening. May Christ be magnified in all that is said and done. Root out unrighteousness and injustice from our land, and may it be replaced by a spirit of humility, faith in Christ, repentance toward God. Teach us to love you as you've loved us. Strengthen this city, its government, and its citizens, and especially its churches in your grace and for your glory. In the name of Jesus Christ we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance to the flag.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pledge allegiance to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Be seated. Okay, so we'll move on to the public comments. At this time, we'll hear from those who had signed in prior before this meeting was called to order. And we have quite a few people, so I'm just going to start from the top and go down, if that's fine. Jennifer Heitman, I'm sorry.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Heitman. My address is 1905 Amberwood Court in Sulphur Springs. I am here on behalf of Christus Mother Frances Hospital with good news that we are opening a primary care clinic on February 20th. And we're accepting appointments already, and we will have a ribbon cutting and let everybody tour on March the 20th. So I wanted to invite everyone and just spread the good news. That's all I have.
Where's this going to be at?
It's going to be at the Christus Trinity Clinic on the back side of the hospital, one of those clinics.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person is Sean Salter.
Ma'am, I don't have anything, just was here in case there were any questions.
Okay, thank you. Brenda, is it Maury?
Yes, I'm not speaking.
Okay. Is it Travessa Newsom?
Yes, I'm here with the senior class.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Is that later?
Yeah. Melissa Lorraine. Oh, wait, I'm sorry. I have John Crosby. It looks like the name's crossed out. Is that John? Okay. Melissa Laurent.
My name is Melissa Laurent. I live at 1530 State Highway 11 for the last 24 years. I'm here obviously again to talk about Sigma. Sigma has been running again, even though they're under injunction. I have a list of dates that I saw and had emissions and stench at my home. Those are 12/5, 12/6, 12/19, 12/22, 12/29, 12/30, and January 5th. Whatever they've done over there has not fixed the problem. I understand that y'all think it might have. Pass those around, you'll see I have pictures of the emissions. I have video of the emissions. I'm just here to let you know that things are not well over there. And I personally feel like the city stabbed us in the back with the letter that was written by the city attorney, that Sigma is using that against us to try to have their injunction lifted. They have also applied for new TCEQ permits because they could not pass the testing that they did. So instead of fixing the problem, they've petitioned TCEQ to raise the level of emissions that they can emit and to be able to run 24/7. So I'm just here to educate you on what's going on over there. Somebody could have picked up a phone and said, hey, how are things going? Have you smelt anything? Have you seen anything? But nobody bothered. But they wrote a letter that said everything's just fine. Everything's not fine. I'll stand over here until the pictures make their way around because I need those in court tomorrow. You probably need to see them, don't you? Because you're the one that wrote the letter.
I wrote the letter, and I'll stand behind everything in the letter, and I'll read the letter in a few minutes for everyone to
I'm not going to
read.
be here. I'm going to go have Valentine's dinner with my husband of 34 years.
Well, understand, if...
This is our time to talk, not yours, right?
Well, I just want to respond to one thing you said.
I don't care what you say.
If you have a complaint, if you'll call it into the city, we can investigate it that day. We can't investigate a complaint today that you tell us that happened last December. We can't do that. We investigate them when we get them.
I sent messages to 2 city council people.
Call the code enforcement officer. That's who investigates.
It's a waste of my time.
It's not.
It is. It's been a waste of my time for over a year now. Happy Valentine's Day.
The next person, Mr. Jeremy Bell. Oh, okay. Brenda Shirley.
Mayor, I'd just like to speak on 8.6 and
Okay. Brandy Emery.
Hello, I'm Brandy Embry, 406 Nichols Street, Winnsboro, Texas, and also part owner of Vintage and Vines at 1222 Highway 11, adjacent to Sigma. I'm here as well to discuss Sigma. I guess you will be reading the letter to the audience, so I was going to read the letter, but I'd rather you read the letter because I don't like to read and I don't like my voice. So we are insulted by this letter, though, as a group, the community that has suffered so much from Sigma. This has been going on for over a year. December 14th, I think, was the first time or 7th. First time we came here and asked for help, guidance, help. What can y'all do to help us with the issue? So we have a little bit of a different update. I know the last 2 meetings have said all is well, but I agree, no one contacted any of us to see if all is well. Since November 29th through February 13th, we've done at least 25 TCEQ complaints now, and those will be filed. Initially, we were told, don't do complaints. Don't complain to the city of Winnsboro, don't complain to TCEQ, because Sigma has placed new equipment on their RTO, they're working on it. We're going to give them time to tweak the equipment. That was all part of the agreement. And so we did that. We agreed. We were being reasonable in all of this, but now we feel like it's being used against us because now they're presenting that there's 0 issues when there have been. And we did let the attorneys know through time, as these issues were going on, the dates. We kept logs. We have them all. We have the pictures. We have our logs. Kept all of this together to present to them. Of course, they've been in touch with Sigma, but we still waited, and then we found out that they're asking for a new permit from TCEQ because they cannot pass their own stag testing. They have refused to let the outside sources that are part of the court order to come in and do stag testing. So no one knows what's blowing out of those stacks still. I suffered tremendous health problems. My sister has for this whole last year. Now that they're operating again, the irritants are coming back. Eyes, ears, eyes, nose, throat, chest. It's all returning. It's become apparent to all of us their new equipment. It did not alleviate their issues. And we have noticed the visible emissions are decreased, but the things are still there. The noxious odors there. The irritants are there. And so, we were willing to let Sigma have this opportunity, and it's been turned against us. So we just want to make sure that it's noted that things aren't well, as Melissa stated, and that we're asking for someone to listen. And do you all stand by this, that you are going to say that there are zero issues? Has there been thorough investigations into the plant? Have any of you gone and spent any time out there? Like, seriously, like sat out there like we have to do for 8, 10, 12 hours a day and breathe that in? If you haven't done that, then I don't think anyone should speak on their behalf to say that everything's perfect with them, because it's not, and we need help, and we just want someone to listen to us.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The next person is Becky Embry.
Okay, Becky Embry, the smaller grandson, he's really not shy, but anyway, Vintage and Vines. And so I'm just going to add a little bit to the end of what Deb said. For the little ones, that really can't speak for themselves, I'm just coming to you as a mom and a grandmom to tell you that my children have been to, like, the lung doctors in Dallas, and the main one told her that these plants release these gases, whatever you want to call them, into the air, and they will, not maybe, they will cause interstitial lung diseases, which the only thing that after this occurs that you can do is a lung transplant. Now, they have already sought 3 new permits and received them, Sigma has, to go 24/7 and to release more toxins. They have a certain name, and they've asked for the permit, and all 3 of them was, they gave them to them. So this is the last one that they're coming to right now. It's nitrogen dioxide, which is colorless and odorless. And so we're not going to know if we're breathing it, and you are not going to know. But their little school is only like maybe a half a mile, maybe a little more. So nobody's going to know what is taking place for the children. In 10 to 15 years, I'm probably not going to be here, and maybe a few more of you are not going to be here, but they are. So I just ask you, not just for mine, because we're probably not going to, they and me and my business is probably not going to, be able to endure this. So it's probably not going to be here, and they're probably not going to be here, but there is going to be little children here, and it's not going to affect all of them. It's going to affect first the weak ones, the sickly ones, the elderly, and so we just ask that you would do your job. I don't know how many of y'all has read up on all this, but my daughters have spent thousands of hours reading about all this, and you may think, oh, that's not true, but in this past year, all the nights was spent searching out what it's doing. So just keep this in mind when you're making your decisions, that it's just not for now, it's for the future also. And sir, we would ask that you go ahead and read your letter that was sent, and it will be used tomorrow. As far as I know, Sigma has asked for the injunction to be released in the Quitman Courthouse in the morning. And they're using this letter as part of the reason why that should happen. Thank you.
Okay, so I have no one else down for public comments, so let's move on to the number 5.1, which would be the Sigma update.
You want me to read this letter, Madam Mayor?
Yes, please go ahead.
This is a letter that I sent to the city administrator, McKenzie. I said, "Dear McKenzie, you've asked me how city staff and officials should respond to citizens asking about the status of Texas Sigma Partners LLC, Winnsboro's operations. I think that an understanding of the facts will inform the best responses to citizen inquiries. After a difficult start to operations, which resulted in numerous complaints and litigation that continues to pend in the District Court of Wood County, Texas, Sigma ceased operation altogether in about May of 2022. After suspending operations, Texas Sigma invested more than $1 million for new equipment designed to address the issues of odor emanating from the plant. They have recently reopened the facility and resumed operations. During the time that the company was undergoing the upgrades to address the odor issues, they continued to maintain their entire workforce to ensure that the shutdown did not adversely impact the local residents employed there. During its resumption of operations, Texas Sigma has been closely monitored by the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality and appears to have passed muster with that agency, which it appears to have done. Prior to the suspension of operations last year, in response to several citizen complaints, the City of Winnsboro code enforcement officer issued several nuisance citations to Texas Sigma. Those cases have been concluded, and Texas Sigma has paid all fines assessed against it. Since reopening, there has only been a single complaint regarding Texas Sigma's operation. Texas Sigma was not in that complaint was investigated, and it was determined that on the date of the complaint, Texas Sigma was not in operation, and this could not have been the source of the odor identified. In fact, in that instance, another agricultural industry located in the same area as Texas Sigma was determined to be the source of the odor. Since reopening, Texas Sigma has and plans to continue to employ a third-party consultant to monitor air quality issues near the plant during operations. We, the city, will continue to monitor the situation and respond to air quality issues as and when they arise. However, since resuming operations, there appear to have been no actionable violations of the city's nuisance regulations by Texas Sigma. We respond to complaints. And if you have complaints and you're intentionally, what I heard tonight, not calling the city, not calling code enforcement, not telling us that there's a problem, we're not going to go investigate the complaint. But when we've investigated complaints and we've found them to be viable, we've issued citations to Texas Sigma. We've done what's in our power to do. But you limit our power to respond if you intentionally don't let us know when there's a problem. It's critical that you let us know. Yes?
Thank you for that. We just need a clarification then. Who do we call? Because before we were told to call the police, and we don't want to tie them up if they are.
Our code enforcement officer, Scotty Sewell, is a licensed police officer. So you can go through the police department to contact him. And before I wrote this letter, I called Scotty and I said, "Tell me what's going on with Texas Sigma." And he said, "Here's what's going on. There's nothing going on with them as far as we know. We've had one complaint, and they weren't operating that day, and it wasn't them that the odor was emanating from."
Right. I do understand that.
And I will say this: we talked to Ryan Hawkins, who's the president of Texas Sigma. He gave McKenzie and I an update report before we came in today. They've been shut down since January 6th.
They're operating, sir. That's false.
Well, I mean, he reported that they'd been shut down since January 6th because of some agreement they have with the plaintiff's lawyers.
Right. He's reported a lot of things that are inaccurate to TCEQ, and then in your letter you said that TCEQ is following and monitoring. They haven't tested them once. I'm just really, this is important information. They have never once tested them. They come here and they step out of their vehicle and they sniff with their nose, and that's as far as a test goes.
TCEQ has fined them some.
Correct, for violations of odor issues,
Yeah.
Doing things that they were not permitted to do, that they admitted to, and they were
we don't, we're not involved in TCQ
No, I
programming.
understand,
That's way past our level. But what we will do is enforce our nuisance ordinances as and when we have the opportunity to do so. The only way we have that is if you tell us when we need to be doing it.
Right, we will. And just initially, the city just really didn't want to be involved in this. But that's been what we've been given and told this entire time. Or if we ask for help or if we ask for information, we get told we're not getting involved because it's, in a suit. But that, even way before that, when we ask for help, but we know how to report and we'll do that.
If I have the cases, I'll prosecute. I can't prosecute cases that don't get filed.
Okay, understood. Thank
Okay.
you. I appreciate it and we'll make sure to report this. Thank you.
I will make one comment in regards to what you're saying. Since that point, as you can see, we have changed our city attorney. So,
From the beginning, yes.
so we do have a new city attorney, and Mr. McElroy is very aggressive in this stuff.
Thank you.
Okay, let's move on to the staff reports. Do we have anyone? Yes, sir. Please come.
She didn't have the Sigma update though? Did they get one? They did.
That was just a brief update where,
Yes,
where they were closed. They've been closed since January 6th, at least according to Mr. Hawkins, and because there's some agreement they have with the lawyers in the case that's going on with the equipment right now. I think there's a hearing on that case tomorrow.
Madam Mayor, before we move on to 6, on section 5.1, I would be interested as a council if there are stack testing being done in-house. Those results should be brought to the city to make sure they are meeting all of our emission.
We can ask, right?
Yeah.
Okay, anything further before we move on? Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Right, so my name is Manuel Casillas. I am the current library director. If I haven't had a chance to meet all of you, it's a pleasure to meet you today. So I have been at the library for just over a year now, so I thought it'd be a good idea to just kind of provide a little bit of an update as far as what's been going on with us there. So I have a couple of different categories here to update you on. I have some general stats, some programming stats, a couple of new services that we've added in the year of 2022, and then a couple of things that we are working on in 2023. So to begin, current collection size is 35,872 items. We've added about 1,060 items in the past year. Patron base, we have 1,610 current card holders. We've added 369 new members in the past year onto the programming. Last year, we hosted a total of 31 total programs, which had 421 total participants. This year, we already have 47 new programs planned, so we're already well past what we did all of last year. Services we've added in 2022 include a service called drivingtest.org, which provides free driver's test prep questions, quizzes, as well as the driver's manuals for car, CDL, and motorcycles. That's all available for free on our website. We've added a free resume builder. Again, that is free with a library card. Pronunciator/Pro Citizen, which is a new language learning website, as well as a citizenship test prep website. So again, that's all available with your card. CreativeBug.com, which is a library of over 1,000 different arts and crafts tutorials and videos. A plant exchange that was provided with the Winnsboro Community Exchange Program, so that's located in Cape Park right next to the library. A puzzle exchange, which works similar to the plant exchange, that's located inside of the library. And so things we are working on in 2023, we are exploring replacing all of our public access computers. So we currently have 7, and they are a little bit behind in terms of the technology, so we are wanting to update all of that for the community. We are also exploring switching from our current computer management software to a new software that will allow us to both control the computers as well as the print management all in one package for less money than we are currently using on our current system. We currently have a trial, a free trial with worldbook.com for a new service for students and homeschool parents that will offer a lot of tools to homeschool educators. We are researching on how to create a seed library to accompany the plant exchange station we have in Cape Park. We are also going to be receiving a little free library, again, through the Winnsboro Community Exchange Program. That's also going to be located in Cape Park. And the library staff, myself and the library assistant, are both working towards becoming notary certified so that we can offer a notary service for the community.
You do a very good job. We
Thank you.
appreciate it.
If anyone has any questions regarding any of the programs, you're more than welcome to give me a call, shoot me an email, and we can discuss any of these.
Thank you for the update. Yes, sir. Okay, any other staff reports?
Brenda Buck, Main Street Program. We received our book from P.A. Getty. I don't know if y'all have had the chance to see this yet out in the community. She did her launch today. This is called the Upper East Side of Texas, Small Towns. We're in here, of course, and it's really exciting. She embarked on this a couple of years ago, and we're pretty excited to see these come through the mail. So I wanted each one of you to have a copy. All right? So I'm not going to read the report to you. I know you've got a lot on your plate today, but I hope you get a chance to look at this. She did a fantastic job.
Awesome. That's great.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any questions from it? Thanks, Brenda. Oh, and it is on Amazon. You can get it on Amazon. Okay, if you want to buy it.
Just ask PA why we're not on the cover. I'm just saying. Okay.
Okay, so anyone else for staff reports? No? Okay, so we'll move on to 7.1, the minutes. Did everybody have a chance? I have so much paperwork up here. Did everybody have a chance to review the minutes, or is there any questions or concerns of any sort? No?
Madam Mayor, I move approval of the January 10th minutes for City Council as presented.
I'll second that.
Okay, all in approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Okay, next we will go into 7.2. Consider resolution number 2023-03, ordering the general election. Mackenzie, do you have anything to add on this?
No, it's just standard issuance of resolution in order to have the election. Last day to file is 17th, is that correct? 17th, this Friday. We currently have 3 people signed up for council and then 1 mayor.
Okay.
Madam Mayor, I make the motion the council approve resolution number 2023-03, ordering the general election.
I'll second.
All in approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries. Thank you. 7.3. Consider resolution number 2023-04, designation of official newspaper. This is for the Winnsboro News. Be the official newspaper for the city of Winnsboro. Did everybody have a chance to review this as well? And do we have any questions, concerns, anything of that nature?
I would just like to see the newspaper come back into Winnsboro.
Anything else? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
Madam Mayor, I move approval of resolution number 2023-04, naming the Winnsboro News as a designation of the official newspaper for the city of Winnsboro.
I'll second.
Okay, all in approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? No. Motion carries. Okay, so let's move. move on to, okay, my bill just closed, sorry. Let's move on to, we're having technical difficulties, hold on a second, I'm sorry. Public hearings, ordinances, resolutions. 8.1, consider fee waiver request by the senior class of 2024.
My name's Trevessa Newsom. I'm here on behalf of the junior class. As you may know, a few years ago, the school stopped supporting or paying or planning the prom, and so that's left up to the junior class parents. And so we have planned prom. We are going to keep it local. We're going to do it at the City Auditorium this year. The theme is Tropical Nights. The junior class has done many fundraisers. We did a 50-50 raffle at the football game. We've done class dues. So we've raised the money to do that, and we're just here today to ask for a waiver for the City Auditorium rental.
And it's April 22nd?
April 22nd, that's correct.
Did everybody get a chance to review this as well? And if so, do we have any questions for Ms. Newsom?
How many are in the class?
I think 120.
It's a big class.
It's a big class.
Madam Mayor, I make the motion the council approve the fee waiver request for the senior class of 2024.
I'll second.
Okay, all in approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, motion carries. So let's move on to 8.2, consider fee or waiver of rental agreement with the Winnsboro Center of the Arts. Do we have Ms. Mary?
Mary White, 9502 FM 1448, representing Winnsboro Center for the Arts. I'm here to request a fee reduction, if not a waiver, for use of the Carolyn Jones Community Room at the Depot this summer for our summer camps. As you know, the summer camps are really a highlight of our children's activities. This summer we'll be hosting 8 weeks of summer camps, and we're requesting use of the Depot for 5 of those weeks. These camps are intended to be accessible for all children who are interested. Our tuition fees are $50 a child, which is very low. We also have scholarships available for those who cannot pay that fee. So I think this is really a great thing for the community, and they're usually well subscribed, if not filled up. So for the past couple of years, we have had access to the Depot through a reduced rental agreement. I believe that for the past 2 years, I believe we paid $10 a week, which is really a token fee, but we have certainly appreciated that for a good cause. I think you all know we do not have space at the Art Center to hold all of these camps. We hope that that might be alleviated in the next couple of years, but right now we do not, so it's really important to have the space for the children.
Does anybody have questions? Do you have a chance to review this for Ms. White?
Is this any different than what we've done in the past as far as costs or?
This is the same agreement we've had for the past 2 years.
That's what I was thinking. The 8 weeks also, it's the same thing?
This would only be 5 weeks of the Depot use. Our drama camps are at the center because we use the stage. Mm-hmm.
Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the fee to $50 for the duration of the summer camps for WCA to rent the Depot.
Second.
Okay, all in approval?
Aye.
Okay, any opposed? No? Motion carries. Thank you, Ms. White. 8.3, introduction of new farmers market manager and appointment of board members.
Hello, my name is Andy Miller, and I am the new farmers market manager. I have been with the farmers market as a vendor and a board member since 2019 when we moved here to Winnsboro to specifically start a farm here. We loved the farmers market before we moved here, and we actually had a property that we would come and on Friday nights so we could come to the farmers market on Saturday mornings. So I absolutely love and adore this market. We were with it whenever it was just small little market. We've seen it grow into what it is now over on Carnegie Street, and it's bursting at the seams. The last, I guess, February 4th was our open house, which was incredible how many potential vendors came up there that we got to meet and see. So there's a lot of just big interest in the farmers market. So I'm really excited to continue on with that and just keep it growing and keep it moving and keep it local and keep it Winnsboro. Yes,
That's good.
yes. And then I do have the new board members that we approved. We have Jeremy Bell, and he is a fellow farmer. Him and his wife have Earthscapes goat milk soaps that they do. So they milk their goats and they make the soaps. And then we have Stacy Finley, who was the former farmers market manager for the last 5 years. And she has been an incredible help.
Madam Mayor, I have a comment.
Okay.
In your minutes for your last meeting, you discussed restricting the farmers market funds account.
Yes, ma'am.
And there has been a determination, our city administrator has asked our city legal counsel
Yes.
For a guidance on that. I just would like it to be known and shown in the minutes that our city attorney does not recommend a separate or a restricted account to be held separately. And I'd like that noted in the minutes. It has not been brought forward to the council, but we're basing this on our legal counsel opinion.
Correct.
There is a letter from legal counsel. I don't know if you've seen it, and perhaps it can be provided to you.
Yes, that would be great.
Is that all right? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Okay, let's move on to 8.4. Consider approval of WEDC project funding request for Texas Commission of the Arts grant match on behalf of the Cultural Arts District. Yes.
On 8.3, council needs to take action on the appointment for the recommendation for farmers market new board members.
Let's go back a little.
Sorry.
Madam Mayor, I make the motion, we accept the appointment of the farmers market board members as presented to the council.
I'll second.
All in approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, motion carries. Okay, now let's move on to 8.4. Consider approval of WEDC project funding request for Texas Commission on the Arts grant match on behalf of the Cultural Arts District. So, I guess you
So this was approved by the WEDC twice now. I didn't realize that this particular project required a public hearing to be held, so we had to go back and request approval again by way of a public hearing and newspaper publications. And so you all are the second step in that, and this is to a TCA grant that Brenda worked on and to relocate the utility on Market Street.
Could you explain a little more detail of what the relocation is?
Like, I'm not sure how much detail, like, the
Well,
power lines are gonna be
yeah,
underground?
yeah.
Yeah, so anything that's overhead will be underground, and then it will require some utility relocation in the alleyway. That's kind of been a little bit of the challenge right now. SWEPCO's been very easy to deal with and well within the parameters of the budget for the TCA. The challenge has been getting in contact with some of the other utility providers to get the alleyway utility relocated, but we are hopeful, and I think it's going as good as we can absolutely hope for. That's all I know. I don't know the specific details of how we're gonna do it.
Well, I meant the reason why we want to do this.
Oh, I think we're, do you want to speak
Yeah.
to that? She knows this inside and out. Sure.
So,
with the original project that we submitted in 2020. It was to do the street, do the sidewalks, do the utilities, all that good stuff. The power lines hang very low, and we find it very difficult to put anything else, like any type of lighting or
Christmas
tree, you know, anything like that. So if we can get all of that, and plus it's just not pretty. I mean, I don't know if y'all have walked down there, but it's a nest. You know, it's just a nest. And now we have internet lines that are now going through downtown and all that good stuff. So make it pretty and more user-friendly, and so we can do some other stuff.
And more user-friendly.
More user-friendly. Yeah.
Ms. Brenda, can you tell us the time frame here?
We have until August 31st. So we're kind of on a short lead, but, you know, all we can do is do what we can do, right? I
Down to
mean,
the wire, no
yeah.
pun intended.
Yeah.
And the matching-
Seriously.
And the matching amount?
The matching amount is $90,500.
That will come from us, the city.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Come from
EDC.
EDC,
Yeah.
sorry, EDC.
Yes, and matched by the state.
Also help the WCA with their project, kind of cleaning up some of the things that we need.
Right.
Because it's coming from the Texas Commission on the Arts, it has to be related to that.
Well, and so they do capital funding, and that's why they approved this. We originally asked for 180-something thousand. We did not get that. Last year, or not last year, but the last ask, the previous ask, we did request 250, and we got 175, and then we matched it, and then we requested 180 because we were wanting to do all utilities, all roads, all that good stuff. It didn't have a component of art in it in its final draft. And because of that, there was one person on the panel that said there wasn't enough art in it. But being that they do fund capital improvements, they did approve it, but they also said that they felt like to do utilities for such a small street, that was a large sum of money. So they didn't fund the whole thing. But we did pare back. You know, we pared back a little bit, so we're going to make it go as far as we can, but the priority is to get the wires underground.
Madam Mayor, I move that we approve the WDC project funding request for Texas Commission on the Arts grant match on behalf of the Cultural Arts District.
I'll second that.
All in approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? No, motion carries. I'm trying not to lose the voice, so let's move on to 8.5. Consider resolution number 2023-02, authorizing the submission of a grant by the police department. Mr. Andy, do you have something to comment on this one?
The weather siren over by the high school, that's by the tennis court, was, I think, purchased back in the 50s maybe. It doesn't even work anymore. The water's got in the box and shorted it out several times. So we've got only 2 active sirens in the city. So to get a FEMA grant, you have to have something besides just, they don't fund just weather sirens. So what we've applied for is it's a weather siren, but it also has capabilities to do public address. So we'll be able to either have a recording or actually talk on the radio and address the public in case of an emergency. And this is a fully funded grant, there is no match.
So my question is then that how far throughout the city will it be able to be heard?
Should be about a 3-mile radius.
Okay.
I think each one of them is about a 3-mile radius. Now, siren, depending on the weather and everything, you should be able to hear that, maybe further than 3 miles, but the actual public address will be fairly close.
Okay.
And it's about a $53,000 project.
I'm sorry.
About $53,000 project.
Yeah, those are expensive.
Yeah. It's good.
And
that's
that
pole and all, that's installed, that's everything. We don't, last one, we had to bring, get our own pole and have somebody put it in for us, that's the full project. It'll be mounted and pole and all.
So the $53,000 comes from the grant,
Yes, ma'am.
and nothing comes from the city.
Not a dime.
However, in the resolution itself, which may have been drawn up by another
The wording,
entity.
I know it's
You know what I'm going to say on,
That's
on
wording in
the second whereas, it says the city of Winnsboro agrees to provide applicable matching funds for said project as required.
Yes, ma'am. That's the standard language in that agreement.
Okay.
It's in every one of them.
But the as required is 0.
Right.
If there was a match, then we would be required, but there's not a match in this one.
Okay.
I would not do that to you.
Just clarifying.
Okay, any other questions?
Madam Mayor, I move the council approve resolution 2023-02 authorizing the submission of a grant by the police department.
I'll second.
All in approval?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Now let's go to 8.6, consider usage of 101 North Main. I do think we had Miss Brenda.
I'm Brenda Shirley, 727 South Walnut Street, Winnsboro. I'm here to make a plea that I think you all got a letter. Did all of you get a letter from our committee? Mackenzie sent us you one in your packet.
Everybody see it?
We would like to request that moving the Winnsboro Historical Museum over to the old City Hall building at 101 Main. The move would preserve the historic value of that building and be able to share it with the public. And the depot would provide offices that you're needing to fill at this time. The museum could grow by having a larger space. We're very limited in the area that we have there at the depot, and we have just about all our space filled. We opened the museum at the depot in September 28, 2019, and all of the display cases were donated by local merchants and individuals and board members. We continue to accept items for new displays, and some items have been donated to the museum that are on loan, or some are permanent. Volunteers keep the museum open 2 days a week, and we operate strictly on donations and help from the city budget. The board meets on the first Monday of the month at 10 o'clock. We'd love for any board members, any council members, or the mayor to attend. You're always welcome. Bill Jones left us just a treasure of memorabilia from, he was very instrumental in starting the museum. And he left us a lot of things that we need to put on display. We don't have enough room to do that, as well as accept new items from other people. We're trying to expand our genealogy department. We got the genealogy records from the library. They've been sent to the museum. And so we have someone that works on those. And we hope to be able to add pictures and stories about families to that genealogy to make it a little more interesting. We have some items in the museum that are over 100 years old, and we've received from the Winnsboro News the old back issues from the last 75 years and all the pictures that have been run in the paper. So we have a lot of cataloging to do, and we want to get all those on the computer where they'll be accessible to people, and that they can make copies and all if they want to about their family. With continued support from the city with the utilities and the maintenance, we could expand and grow the museum by moving into a larger space. Please consider this option. Are there any questions from the letter that we sent? There are several of the committee members here that are here today too.
The museum is on the western end of the depot, correct?
That's correct.
Which is about 1,400 square feet, I believe.
Well, Brenda Buck's office is there, and then we have 2 rooms on
Okay.
the west.
Okay. So we have the Main Street office is in there. What else is in the depot besides the museum?
That's all
The
this.
Carolyn Jones
Yes.
room is there, I know, on the
On the
east
other
end.
end.
Net Health is there.
Net Health.
Net Health.
Right, okay.
So, Brenda, could you talk a little bit about the move to get the 501(c)(3)
Yes, we are applying to be a nonprofit so that people can have a tax deduction on their donations. So far, we have only operated just from just donations, and people put money in the jug when they go by, and we've collected quite a bit of money, I mean several $100s, but we need to be able to get corporate sponsors, and we need to be able to apply for grants, and we have to have the 501(c)(3) to do that.
So, just to clarify for council, I do attend the Monday meetings once a month, and so I know a lot of the answers to the questions we might have, but there's things that we should also think about and discuss too. Currently, the city budgets $10,000 for the museum. And that money has been used so far this year to purchase computers and software. So there's about $7,200 left in it. Currently, the museum does not pay any rent for the use of the depot. I know that when the Chamber of Commerce was in the depot, there was a rental fee that was paid by the chamber to the city. I don't recall, I don't think it was very much. But, so I'm kind of want to give the good and the bad here, because the old city hall does cost a lot of money to maintain. The utilities and the rent, and I do have information if any time the city wanted to rent, we may base it on like $1.50 per square foot, but that runs up to let's see, the utilities last year ran roughly $6,000, and it wasn't even being used all the time. So the museum needs money, I guess is my statement here. It needs money to function. And I don't recall on whether or not we went to the other museums and discussed how they get their financing. Do you
Well,
recall that?
many of them are funded through their city or private donors.
Okay. When would you see a date or a month or a year or whatever that you would like to see the museum enlarged by moving over to the city hall, if that's what is determined would be the facility to use for a museum?
Well, I feel like that we would be doing the city a service to use that building, because it's sitting there now paying all that money out for utilities, and it's not being used. It's not being enjoyed by the citizens or by the visitors that we have come in. We don't really have, we have access to the parking lot in front of the depot, but on a Saturday or any busy time during the year, that parking lot is full, so we are limited on what we can do on the little grassy area there at the depot. So the parking lot at the old city hall would be advantageous to also. And I understand that there is a cost to everything, but how many of you have actually been to the museum? May I ask that? Yeah, no, you have. I mean, for such a small town and for no money, I think we've done an excellent job. And, you know, we're just to our capacity where we really can't add any more. And we just thought that since that building is just sitting there and no one's using it, maybe it could be provided to the committee. It is a city museum. I mean, it brings people to town. We have a website. We have Facebook presence. We have a telephone. We've managed to get all those things with no money. And so I think that it is an asset to the Winnsboro community to have a museum.
Okay, so looking at the city's future for the staff, the building was purchased with the idea of moving city staff into that building. It certainly has more square feet than what is here and would be beneficial for our staff to have more space and offices.
Right.
Of course, it didn't pass in the propositions, so the money is not there to do any renovations for moving the current city hall to that building. But say 5 years down the line, all of a sudden there's another proposition or some movement is made to renovate that building for City Hall. Then that would mean the museum would have to find another place.
We would hope the city would help us find another place.
Originally, it was brought up, like you said, the police department needs more room, and it was to move the office staff there and let the police and fire department have the space here, which they would do. And I was wondering if that had happened, then that would free up the whole depot for the museum. Wouldn't that work?
That would help. That would be would not double our space, but it would help. If we had an office, then there's storage there.
Everything that's there now would be moved over to the old City Hall building. The museum could have the whole depot, and that's a historic building too.
Yes, it is.
Reserve.
The depot, though, is, it would only be an advantage, I think, if it included putting the museum in the Carolyn Jones room also.
That's what I'm saying.
Because there's still not enough room. If you expand the museum to Brenda Buck's office and Net Health office, there's still not enough room for all the things that have been collected and donated, and am I right? So it would
by
be
doing the Carolyn Jones with it, though.
Then it would.
Yeah, that's what I'm
probably,
saying.
but except for storage, huh?
Well, there is a small storage room there that Brenda Buck uses, and we share that.
Ms. Shirley, I have a couple questions. So how many days do you operate during the week?
We operate 2 days a week. Fridays from 1 to 4, and Saturday 10 to 4.
So we're not talking about a huge electric bill for Friday and Saturday. I wouldn't think.
And of course, we hope to be able to expand those days, but
Well, right, of course.
we need volunteers just like all the other organizations do.
So would you be able to use the facility as it is now?
We could, yes, we could make that work.
Okay, and is it just the downstairs?
Well, we would like to we'd be able to store things
Well, yes, of
upstairs, yeah.
But as far as the public, it would be downstairs?
Yes, that's correct.
The whole downstairs?
The whole downstairs.
Okay. And
You're
then-
also needing to look at carrying out the teller stations, the office areas.
Well, just the teller stations is all we would like to take out, I think. If that would open up quite a bit of area. We could do separate rooms, for different, like a Bill Jones room, a Carolyn Jones room, or whatever we need to have. We could use those rooms also. We have all those things we have from the newspaper are now stored at the old City Hall building, and we don't have room for them at the depot. But that is Winnsboro's history that we really need to save, and it was going to be just destroyed, and we acquired it from the owner of the news. Did that answer your question, or did I go around the world?
No, that was...
Sorry.
Has anyone checked as far as fire safety and things like that in that old building?
I would imagine there's some amount of legal non-conformity due to the age of the building, but as far as getting SCO, they're quite expensive. I actually have looked into having someone come in and do sort of a CO, and it was quite costly to do that, and there weren't funds in the budget to have anything to make sure that the structure was down. I've asked the question, but it's in the ballpark of $5,000 determined, and so there was no place in the budget to put that. I do want to point out that a big regular blueprint, the depot, all encompassing from one end to the other, is about 3,900 square feet, and 101 is roughly 2,700 square foot per floor, just so that you'll have an idea of the square footage you can work with.
Well, the next question I would have is how much rental revenue do we generate from the Carolyn Jones room of the depot?
Most of it is waived. There's some sort of fee waiver, to be honest. I mean, a large majority of the revenue is waived for the use of that facility. I don't have a number for you.
Because if the council were to make the decision just to move the offices to 101 and then give the museum the entire use of the depot, of course, my next question would be how much revenue would be lost from that rental. But like you said, a lot of it's waived for various things. Or could it be a mutual kind of a agreement where the museum could lease that room out for events? The museum could control that room and lease it out to generate some revenue for the museum.
I do believe there's an opportunity as well, depending on what council decides, to generate additional revenue from 101 through some sort of instant office basis for 101. So I think that could easily be offset depending on what council decides.
So Ms. Shirley, if you went from, you're in 1,430 square feet right now, if you had the entire depot, you would be more than doubling at 3,910. Would that suffice for a few years?
Yes.
And I love the idea of having a museum in the train depot. I think it's like Mineola's is in the old post office. I think that's just awesome.
Now, see, I look at it different. I look at it that it would be awesome to have it in the old.
Well, a lot of the display is train oriented around there, and that's what started it, actually.
And the potential for more revenue from the 101 building. The potential revenue for that building is much greater if we were to put the museum in the train depot.
Thank you.
You'll excuse me, I've got to be in West Walkeny to that for another one of these. Sergeant, you want me to miss that?
And there's some discussion of doing some train displays.
Yes. That's been our goal all along, to be able to have a
So
display.
we're looking at that too, kind of doing the train around in the circles.
But we still, if we were to move to another location, we would still try to do a train.
My only concern is, on the depot side, is there is people that utilize the Carolyn Jones. Whether we waive the fees or not, there is people that waive that. I mean, they use that facility. So that's the only why I keep leaning more toward 101. It's sitting there vacant.
Well, so is the Carolyn Jones room mostly, except for our WCA. Now, but there are other facilities too throughout the city, like Carton Hall, where people also rent for parties and stuff. So
Dawn, Mackenzie, maybe you should know this, I don't. How much does it cost to rent the Carolyn Jones?
There she is.
I'm just going to go out there and say maybe we price it a little high for people to be utilizing it in the ways that they could. $250 for one day, and because I know before we've used it for a baby shower and things of that sort because the facility's very nice. Maybe Winnsboro's pricing it out of people's budget.
I think it's, sorry, a lot, I think it's 200.
Oh, well, that's still.
Further consideration has to be given to, if you move into the 101 building, obviously maintenance issues are going to intensify with time, not so much because of your move, but the presence of operation there is going to, I think, necessarily demand increased maintenance, and that's going to fall on the city at a time when we've been dealing with a real struggle with budgets and already experienced a tax increase. I think we really need to look at ways to draw in expenditures rather than increasing the scope of our reach.
Well, that also goes along with, I think we're discussing what to do with 101. I lost mine on the screen. Do we sell the building? That's the other question.
Right.
Put that money in our budget, in our bank account, and, increase that. So.
We need it for expansion, like I said, because the police department needs way more space. We've already got it. And we just move the city offices there, and then the police department, the fire department take the rest of this.
The only problem with that is the citizens have already said they don't want the cost of that happening. That was our vote.
There are other ways to fund it, though. There are grants and other things.
The revenue over the last 2 years that we were able to see is around $900 for the Carolyn Jones. Give you an idea.
Mackenzie, we said the square footage currently is about $1.50 per square foot to rent one phase to $2, $1.50 to $2. And the square footage at 101 is what? 2,700 per floor. So the potential for that to be a revenue source is pretty great, I would say. I mean, we obviously would have to do some things to it, ensure it, bring it up to, but you can do it a little at a time. You could pick, like one end and one floor and do a little at a time and start generating revenue by leasing that space out, correct?
That's my understanding how it works.
And ADA requirements too.
And we have to, eventually, we're going to have to get some sort of CO. I mean, honestly, even if the museum goes over there, if we're going to allow the public to walk through, we need to make some sort of determination on whether or not it's structurally sound and get a ruling from whomever it would be, whether or not it would be illegal non-conformance and what that looks like.
Well, I don't think we're ready to make a decision on moving the museum.
We just want to have our hat in the ring, just in case you need a place.
Right. We've
We'd
heard
love to.
comments, and I think probably need more discussion.
Shirley, when do you expect to have your 501c3 in place? Do you know?
We are just now applying for it. Yes.
That'll be a big help.
Yes, it will.
And I can speak from experience, it will take at least 1 to 2 years for them to approve you.
Oh, my goodness.
We were hoping
Just
for like
recently
2
went through
months.
that. Yeah, I just recently went through that with another nonprofit entity, and we applied for it last year. And the IRS is so backlogged because of the time they were shut down in 2001.
Oh, yes.
They're still processing from 2001.
We have all our documents in place now, and we're ready to file, so.
Well, you guys do a wonderful job, and I definitely agree with the need to expand and that it is an attraction to the city, so thank you for what you do.
Thank you. We appreciate that.
We're going to put A.6 as no action.
Right. Table.
Okay. Okay, so if there's nothing further that I see on my little list here, the next regular city council meeting will be held on Tuesday,
March 14th.
March 14th, at 5:30 p.m. Anyone who wishes to present business to the council at that meeting must submit a completed request to be placed on the agenda to City Hall by 12 p.m. on Monday, 8 days prior for the meeting for approval to be placed on the agenda. I call this meeting adjourned at 6:42 p.m.
We need to sign these?
That's for the election.
So every council member needs to sign?
That's what is my understanding.
You have one not ready. Okay.